Hello, everybody, and welcome to Commerce Chats. I'm so glad that you're able to join us via the power of YouTube. It's great to welcome everyone to these Commerce Chats. I hope everyone's watching along and everyone's made a cup of coffee or has a glass of water. We're going to have a really interesting discussion today. So for those of you that don't know about Commerce Chats, it's our weekly sort of bite-sized podcast-style conversation where we have sometimes a deep conversation, sometimes just a light conversation, but it's a conversation about commerce for people from all skills, whether you're new to the commerce industry or whether you're a seasoned veteran in this landscape. So if you don't know already, follow our social medias at EICOM Institute, follow our YouTube page, become a subscriber, please, as well. So you can always know when the next Commerce Chats is coming up. Today, we're joined by someone who I admire quite a lot. Every time I have a discussion with this person, I always leave feeling invigorated and motivated to do a little bit more in commerce and to propel my own education as well. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. I don't know how much we can cover in 30 minutes, but before I spoil the topic, Marcos, please introduce yourself. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Krish. Thank you very much. Well, I am Marcos. I work in the growth engineering team in Latin America. And today, okay, so please send your questions and we will try to answer during the chat. And if not, at the end, I will put my contact and my Slack channel if you want to continue the conversation outside this presentation.
Absolutely, and super important note there. Definitely put some comments in the YouTube box. Our backstage team can pass those questions along to us. We'll try and answer them live. Marcos, actually, just before you jump into it, could you tell us a little bit about yourself as well, just for the people that don't know about you? How did you get to where you've got to now as well?
Okay.
I'd love to know.
Well, I'm going to try to make a summary of my experience. I founded an e-commerce agency in Mexico in 2009, 2010, and for 8 years I helped it was one of the pioneer e-commerce agencies in the country. And then I always tell that this is like my MBA of commerce, because that's how during 8 years and more than 50 projects, I helped a lot of companies to make their first implementation of commerce, helping doing digital marketing, helping surfing this new world for them. So from entrepreneurs, from big companies, CPGs, B2C, B2B, shoes, books, different kind of products and different kind of companies. So I had a really good experience to try to help different kind of companies of different sizes. And when you try to open an online channel from a company, you need to understand the company. So I understand a lot about business, not just about commerce. And actually, organically, I learn a lot of experience and a lot of concepts and a lot of knowledge. And actually, that's why I could pass the EICOM CMX Level 3, because of all that 8 years experience doing that. So after that, I sold my agency, and 1 year later, I joined VTEX. So I'm here, still in the same world, in e-commerce, helping companies to do the digital commerce. So that's a little bit of my experience, and I hope that today I can transfer a little bit of knowledge about this topic that we choose today, that it's traffic sources. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that intro. And that's a great point as well. You are a CMX title holder as well. So I think that real world experience of you jumping into it and having that real world experience, it definitely helped you pass those exams as well. Visit commercecertification.com if you want to learn a little bit more about that. But please, Marcos, go ahead. Tell us more about what you're going to show us.
Okay, thank you. So today we're going to talk about traffic sources. Traffic sources are how we can build, we can have visits to our store. Without visits, there is no one that we can offer our products or our value proposition. So not so fast with the champagne. To build and launch an e-commerce site is just the beginning of the journey, not the goal. I see a lot of celebration when we launch the e-commerce site. We just launch it. We are live, and a lot of people think that that is the goal. We just achieved the goal, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is just the beginning. You just enable, you just open the challenge. So before that, you cannot compete. Now you can start competing, but you are just you just born in the internet. So you need to get people that to know that you exist. Just 1 out of 10 e-commerce stores survive after 120 days. You can see the reference. This is a research from Forbes, Huffington Spots, and some other companies. And why is that? Because aside before, when I started this journey in the agency in 2009, 2010, you really needed a lot of things to develop an online store. You need to build code from scratch. You needed to build connections to payment gateways from scratch. You need to, it was like thousands, dozens of thousands of dollars and months, even 1 year of project. Now, 10 years later, the technology has been democratized. So you can use a lot of e-commerce platforms that in some days you can launch a store. Or even yourself, even you don't know how to code, you don't know how to design, you can do it. Or just for a couple $1,000s, you can hire an expert and develop a really easy e-commerce store. Obviously, VTEX is not for that. It's more for more complex companies that needed a lot of business rules and a lot of integrations and a lot of features. But basically, if you really want to publish one product and one people that can buy from you, that is an e-commerce store, really there's a lot of alternatives that you can build it from in hours. You can build one store. So that has become very easy. So a lot of people go and open their store, but they didn't even think about how can I'm going to make one sale. So that is a challenge, and this is some of the top reasons of failure in this study, and I highlighted the first two because they are the biggest ones, and it's poor online marketing and lack of online search visibility. In simple language, this means nobody knows you exist. So what you need to do is which strategies can I use so the internet can start recognizing that I exist, and maybe they could be interested in my value proposition.
Marcos?
So, yeah.
I'd love if you could go back to that previous slide, actually, because I'd love to talk about this. But this is something that, in your presentation, could you delete that speaker camera part in the right top corner? Could you stop sharing your screen and try and delete it? I don't know if you can, because I know that when I watch this back, it's going to bug me. So I'm going to ask you in the middle of this presentation if you could delete it. Don't worry if you can't. I don't know if you can.
Okay.
This is what happens when we do it live. This is the magic of it. There you go.
Okay,
you're seeing it happen.
But I need to do it in every
Let's
slide.
do it. Let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
Because I know that I've watched your videos back, and I know I'm going to watch this one back as well. So I thought I'd just tell you. But, something really interesting about that slide, which you wrote the top reasons for failure. I think, we're in that part of the world, or certainly I am, where it's easy, I guess, accessibility wise to start a website, right? I've done it myself. We've all kind of done it, where we've gone onto these websites, we've created our own shopping website, or some sort of e-commerce. But that is really just the tip of the iceberg, right? You're kind of in the middle of nowhere without a telephone, if that analogy makes sense.
No, Krish, actually, you just win my analogy. Yeah, in the next slide, I'm going to share something close to that analogy. It's not the same one, but close.
Yeah, no, I love this list as well. I think it's poor online marketing. I think one of the things that, not to delay your discussion here is, but as an e-commerce director or professional, how do you decide which one to kind of focus on? I know I'm giving some spoilers. Maybe you can talk about that at some point, but thank you.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry for that image.
No,
but I couldn't delete it from all the 30, 40 slides, but after this presentation, I will do it. So when you look at the slides, you can see it without that. Sorry for that.
No worries.
as we were talking, it's like a store in the desert. So when you, this is the analogy, Krish. So when you launch an e-commerce site, it's like if you open a store in the desert, in the middle of nowhere. You have to build the roads to your store. That is the traffic sources, roads to your store. When you open a store in a shopping mall or something like that, what you pay of the rent, that it's a lot of money, it's because you are not in the desert. It's because there is people walking all the time. There's a flow of people all the time that you can convince to sell them. That's what you pay, and you pay a rent there. So when you open an online store in the magnitude of the internet, you're just a small dot there that nobody knows about you, just your partner, your mom, and maybe one friend. So if you need that the people to convince to sell your products, you need to build these traffic sources. So I'm going to share some of the some traffic sources, but before, some basics about these traffic sources. There are sources that what is traffic? Visit to your store, people coming and visiting your store. Okay, and that traffic you need to convert into a sale. That is the conversion rate. A conversion rate is how much percentage of the visits you sell to them. So, and maybe a lot of you know, but maybe an average is 1%. It depends on the market industry, but between 1, 2, 3%, sometimes lower. So you need, if you, in this example that you have 1% of conversion rate, that it's not bad, maybe, so you need 100 people to have one sale. So you need traffic. So there are traffic sources that are organic. What does it mean? That you work this traffic source, but there is not a proportional cost related of money to visits. There is no like a correlation. You do some stuff like awareness, you go to an expo, you put some banners in some place and stuff like that, and use some interchanges of links, and you start to appear in the top searches in Google, stuff like that, that obviously it costs money, because everything is resource or a professional or you studying or your time, so it costs. But versus paid, what I mean is that there are some traffic sources that are related to money. You pay $1 per click or 10 cents per click, and every click you get in that marketing opportunity, then you pay for that visit. So there are two differences. The other one is the audience, to which it's a traffic source. So there is traffic sources more suitable for people that has no idea about you. There are other traffic sources more focused on people that already know you. There are other ones that are for customers, people that already buy to you, but you can create traffic sources to make them come back, and for recurring customers as well. And the other differentiation, the other concept is quantity versus quality. Maybe when you listen to me, this formula about the traffic and conversion rate, you say, okay, so I need a lot of traffic, but not that fast, because it's a balance between quantity and quality. I prefer 10 people that are willing to buy for myself than 100 people that were looking for a definition of candy in the internet and found my store and they click, and they were not looking for buying a candy. They were looking for pictures of candies for their work. I don't know. So the quality is something very important. Why I'm saying this? Because when I'm going to present some traffic sources, there are some paid traffic sources that you can get tons of traffic, but really it doesn't have any quality. So I don't recommend them. For example, I don't know if sometimes you use some free apps in your phone and stuff like that you click by mistake in ads and there is no way to close the ad. That counts as one visit. But really, that is just garbage traffic. It doesn't. The only ones that wins money is the marketing product that is putting that banner. But for companies, a lot of time they get caught in this. I'm going to generate a lot of traffic. Okay, what's the quality of that traffic? There are people in my audience, in my niche. They are my buyer persona or not. So there are two things that you have to put in balance. Now, I'm going to show you some traffic sources list. There's a lot of them. So there are a lot of possibilities. Here you can see this list. I'm going to try to explain some of them or to present this concept of some of them. But really, maybe you don't find something listed here, but you can imagine how to create this traffic source. So I'm just going in order, okay?
So Marcus, just a question here, curiosity I have is, how many, if I'm an e-commerce director or, I'm responsible for an e-commerce store, how many of these simultaneously can I work on? I know it
That is
depends on so many
a
different
great
things,
question.
but
Yeah, that's a great question. At the end, I'm going to tell you exactly that answer.
perfect.
Okay.
Nice.
So, well, just to illustrate you with different traffic sources that you can use. The first one is SEO. This means search engine optimization, and that means to appear organically in some results in Google organically. So I put buy candies. So this list appears to me organically. This the dlandscandybar.com. If I click into that link, they are not going to pay anything to Google. What they did before, it's a lot of work to appear there, like keywords, good content, getting links from other pages to link to us, so Google think we are relevant. Every of these traffic sources, really, it's a big world. Like every one of these, you can have 10 classes about each one. So this is just like an introduction, so you know the concept. Of course, from SEO, there are books, courses just for that. Okay, so, but just what is the concept? Optimize your web page so you can appear in different results in the search engines in the top rankings. But for every keyword, buy candies is just one keyword. Candies, buy sweet candies, it's another keyword. So you need to work in the most keywords that you can. And for me, this is one of the most important traffic sources that you need to work in, because even though it's slow, you will get results in 6 months, maybe 1 year. Then it's like the field. You put the seed and you put water, the sun comes, and then little by little you will have a field full of plants, full of fruits, full of vegetables, but not in the beginning. So you have to have patience, but I always recommend to implement this one, yes
And
or yes.
I think like you mentioned, it's slow, right? And it takes a lot of investment, time, and learning how this works. And in a way, it's more sustainable, right? When you're not paying for this paid media that isn't necessarily the qualified traffic, like you mentioned before. You might be just getting people like this one, like at the top.
Exactly.
I find that really interesting. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really passionate about SEO, and a lot of businesses that I had were reliable only in this traffic source. Okay, so just to give a little bit of spoiler of the question of Krish, really you can choose just 2 or 3 of them, work them. There are a lot of e-commerce companies that sell millions of dollars with 2 or 3 traffic sources that they really work on them. So you don't have to have everything. You have to choose which ones is better from your audience, which ones are in your resources, which skills you have. Are you good in video? Are you good writing? It depends on your skills, your resources, the moment of the company. But my recommendation is that you choose 3 of them, then work them, then measure them, and after that, suspend what is not working, double down on what is working. And when you think that you have established one of these 3, maybe you can choose then another one and start. Okay. Now I'm going to be a little bit fast in this because there are like 15 or 20. So I'm going to be a little fast. SEM is search engine marketing, and it's paying the search engines like Google, that when you put buy candies, as you see, these results have the word ad. So this is an ad. This is not organic. So if I click candy sales continue to soar, food for thought, and I go to this nasocandy.com, if I click on that link, then this company will pay some dollars to Google for my click. So this is search engine marketing. Google Shopping, it's another format when you can upload a product itself. So when you I Google buy candies, and I get this shopping these Google Shopping results, where candies are showing here with a link to the product page. So this is a relatively new format, okay? The other one is social media ads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So if you can see the difference between Google Shopping and search engine marketing with social media, for me, is that these ones they have already the buying intention. They search for the product, and you just want to capture some searches and take to your store, okay? The other one is more like people is surfing, is browsing, they are walking in the shopping mall, and then hey, you want this cream? That is like a social media ads. Like you are just scrolling down your feed, and then you see some ad. Obviously, these are targeted as well because of your preference, interest in the social media. How this is the power of Facebook or Instagram. They know about you,
algorithm,
so they try.
Right?
This algorithm try to put publicity and ads that they think that you are interested in. So I will never see, for example, myself, some bras or panties ads, because I'm or maybe when it's Valentine's Day, maybe they can target some man to sell. But that is the way it works. You are scrolling, and then you get the ad in social media platforms. Then display ads. Display ads are banners around the internet in news web pages, in blogs, in stuff like that, when you can buy some like this pink banner, when people can see the banner and maybe they click or they don't click. How they charge this is by impressions, not by clicks, but by impressions. How many people saw this banner? And then obviously you can choose which websites are relevant for your audience. Maybe if you are making some sport products, maybe you will find some media sports specifically to put that banner, because if you put a general impact will not be the same. Remarketing is when they hunt you after they know that you have interest. I don't know if when you search for an airplane ticket or something and you buy, then that week go to Cancun, Cancun packages, hotel. So this is like you already express some, or for example, this flash sale, when maybe you already get into the web page, and then you get out, and then you go to Facebook, and then you see, hey, don't, remember this flash sale will end tomorrow, so come back. So that is remarketing. Then trying to get featured in some blogs. This is more like a manual work where you can research the internet and see which blogs your audience reads, and contact them and maybe have a sponsored article, or maybe do some collaboration with them, and so they can feature your product more organically and not like just like an ad, and giving some value to that community. The other one are influencers, hiring people that talks to your audience and giving some money in exchange of this post, or what I recommend is giving a percentage of the sales, because maybe you can, this is crazy, this market, you can pay thousands and thousands of dollars for no sales, and maybe some micro influencers can get more impact. As I said, every topic it's a really big topic that can deserves hours of talking, and there's a complete science on how to make influencers marketing work. But there's another alternative. Affiliates, it's similar to influencers, but this is people that can join your affiliate program, and you give them a link, and then with this link they can promote this link in the social networks, in WhatsApp groups, and when someone buys from this link, the affiliate wins some money. So for example, if I am an e-commerce expert, I can be an affiliate of some software, of some e-commerce software, for example, marketing, for email marketing, for example, Clavillo. So I can register as an affiliate, and if people consult me about which e-commerce platform, which email marketing platform you recommend, and if I recommend, I give the link, and if they contract this, I will get a commission. So that's another way to get traffic. Content marketing, I think this one is one of the best at this time. It's creating content that is valuable to your audience, like educational content, tutorials, how-to videos, people using the product. So this is more organically, and you can put this in large forms like a podcast or a YouTube channel, or short forms like an Instagram reel, or just like a short video, or maybe just a quote and a post. So, but to create and educate your audience, giving some value content for them, that it's not content to buy you. It's just content that can educate and give value for this audience, so you are the voice of this, you are the authority. Whereas the first letters of authority of one subject, it's author. So you have to be author of the content. So if you are the author of the content, you will become the authority in that field, and then you can sell products related to that content. Email marketing is getting emails from people and sending offers. Email automations is you have the email of some persons, and depending on the context of the journey, you send emails to help them back. For example, the abandoned cart. Hey, you left someone in the cart. Or the other one. Hey, this product that was out of stock, it's now in stock. So come here and buy again. So these are email automation. Actually, I have a complete class of email automations, and maybe I can share later.
We'd love to see that, because I feel like some of these aren't as they're not as, you don't have to spend so much money doing some of these things. And I think that's something that I'd love to discuss at another time, which is email automations. You know, it's about taking these practices and developing them, and they don't necessarily take a huge investment. I don't know what you think.
Exactly.
Is that your experience?
Yes. It's not actually. I cannot understand that people that have e-commerce store doesn't have this running, because it's like you do it one time, and then you get money for free every time. Not for free, but every time. And but if you can remember the beginning, this, for example, is for customers or people that already know you. It's not for new people to know you. So there are, as you can see, there are traffic sources depending on the stage. This one, for example, is for people that already go into your website or have buy for you already. But some of them at the beginning were for people that doesn't know you. So I didn't categorize every one of them, but as you can see,
sure,
they are for different.
You know, Marcus, just as well, just to ask you a quick question here. We've got a comment in a question in our chat. So the question is, in a company that's starting its digital transformation, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge in building the strategy? And specifically, there are trade-offs to be made. And I really love this question, because paid traffic brings more conversion, SEO is long-term. You know, a company's building its digital transformation, it's going through this process. What do they do?
Yeah. What I always recommend is to really study and have clear the buyer persona, because you are not going to sell to everyone. And I have the challenge all the time. Oh, I sell in socks. Okay, to whom? To everyone. Every people use socks. Everyone. Yes, but if you want to talk to someone, you need to have some color, some flavor, some identity that someone can hear and identify with yourself. Not I sell socks. So maybe, I don't know, socks with a Formula One design. And so you can talk to that people, and then you can research where is that people is talking in the internet. And actually this traffic source in the screen, it's related to that. Where are they? Is there a Facebook group? Is there a community? So maybe I can be a part of the community, get into the community, and hey, I am selling this. For example, this is, I just put skiing. If I sell products for skiing, maybe there's groups with 7,000, 20,000 members that I can get into that. Maybe if I'm a ski, and I can promote organically some of my products. So nice. Instead of going too broad in the internet, that is the obsession that everyone has, really find where are the niche of your buyer persona, and so you can talk to them. And sometimes it's a WhatsApp group. Sometimes this is a reunion, an offline reunion that some group do every meeting every month, that they go cycling, and then so you go there, and then and the other one, it's this one, referral program. Then when you find this place and you sell to some first people, then you said to these first people, hey, tell your friends please, that already have that they are already fans of cycling as you, please tell them, and you will win money if they buy from us. So then the word of mouth can help you go organically. So if you want to start, that's the way I will start. Go to the place where the people that you want to sell are talking, get into the conversation, invite them, and then when the ones that you acquire, ask them to help you to make this word of mouth, but giving them some incentives and prices for doing that. And finally, offline. Sometimes when you talk about e-commerce, you forget about the offline world. No, you can do offline marketing. You can do to an expo. You can be in a magazine, a specialized magazine. Maybe you sell, I don't know, you sell golf cars, and you need to sell not biggest quantities. And maybe there's a magazine that the 2,000 people that play golf in Mexico, we read that. So go there and you can have a publicity there. So don't forget about the offline. For example, when I had an e-commerce that sell beauty products for men, so we went to barbershops, we went to these places and make a partnership with them to sell our products. So not because you are online in a .com, you are out of the offline world. So don't forget offline PR, expos, direct email. There's a lot of online, offline alternatives that you can choose. So trying to finish, I know that this is a lot of information, a lot of opportunities, a lot of traffic sources. So based on your budget, your experience, your skills, your audience, your moment, I recommend to choose three, just three. Then measure them in a 1 to 3 months. Measure them where you are seeing results, double down and forget about the other ones. Don't have this FOMO feeling of I'm losing 10 visits if I suspend this. No, but focus on the good one. You cannot do everything. When you feel that you can establish the first three, then you can go to this list and get one more and try to work one more. Slow, but secure. It's better to dominate one channel rather than being in all of them with no impact. The reality is that we have limited resources, time, and money. Of course, this is kind of dangerous if you are reliable in one channel. So if Facebook is down, your business is down. Or if Google Ads is down, or some competition come and win the bid, you're down. Maybe, or maybe you win organically in Instagram and then the algorithm change and you're out of the business. Of course, that it's not very resilient to just have one traffic source. Of course, you have to diversify. You have to start from somewhere. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And there's Marcus's details right there for anyone who's interested in contacting him. But I've got so many questions. So after every time I speak to you, I always feel like I don't know anything about the topic you're talking about, because you give me a list and I'm like, okay, I don't know a lot about this. So that's always a good thing, right? So to know kind of where I stand. But I've got some questions. You know, you mentioned, when you were talking about companies going through digital transformation, it's a trade-off, right? They need to focus on a couple of different things. But should there be some things that they must focus on, like SEO, which is my number one example here? It might be in the long-term growth strategy for them, but it's something that they kind of have to focus on, right? It's not really a choice. What do you think?
No, I think SEO is not a choice. And Google Ads, Google Shopping, and Facebook Ads, I think those are the basic ones to try and see which one works for you better. But SEO, for me, it's a mistake to not start investing there, because you are getting the fruits. If you are willing to be long-term, if you just need to, that is a problem in some companies. You need to give results now, because you are the e-commerce director and you need the results now. So it's kind of like a president of a country that you have 4 years. So I think that mindset doesn't help you to think in the long term. So you do just short-term things and you never do long-run things. And that's why SEO is for me, it's a big opportunity, because big companies doesn't put effort here. So a small beauty brand can be in SEO really quickly, because the big brands are not doing that very
focus on that. They of course they are positioned because of the brand, because of the search they got and everything, but they don't have their e-commerce optimized. They are not having some people doing some content exactly for SEO. So for me, it's a good step. But really, it doesn't. There are no absolute answers. There are some brands that now on TikTok organically get hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales just from TikTok, and they hasn't do anything more. So my final recommendation is try, measure, and then you can decide. But you can do a first filter depending on the type of product and the kind of audience where you are looking for. If you are looking at now an elder audience, maybe TikTok is not the best one for you. So you need to have some of that things in mind.
No, that makes sense, and I think it leads me on to my next question, which is I think you've covered some of these points, which is it's a question from our YouTube actually, which is what would you recommend for a small to medium business to start building SEO, specifically SEO? Where would you start with, like maybe a strategy plan? What do you think?
Pages, very good product pages. Start your own blog where you search for. You can go to Uber Suggest, that it's a online tool when you put your industry and give you content ideas of people looking for what kind of content related to your product. So for example, I was selling a beard balm to grow your beard, for example. So all the people were asking, which brand is the best one to grow your beard? So you answer that question. So you create an article with that question and you do a comparative table, even though if your competition, but you see what the internet is asking about your product, and then you build that article. So when they search for that, you will get that traffic in your blog, and then you can recommend your product at the end of the blog post. So create content of what people are already asking in the internet that the answer is not there. So put the answer out there and build really good product pages, good titles, good description, not just the name and some paragraphs. Really try to include the keywords that the people are looking for in the description and the title of your product. And of course, like a platform like VTEX will help you technically with the meta tags, with the URLs that are friendly instead of just codes that can speak to a human and for a robot. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, have we got time for one more question? I don't know if Marcus, you've got time. I'll be super quick with this one, which is something I feel like we don't talk about enough, or I don't hear about anyway. I'm sure people do talk about it, but copywriting, because all of this requires content, content marketing, blog posts, writing all these different things. I feel like, did you struggle with that when you were in your agency? Did you find it was a skill in itself just to write good copy?
Yes. That's a really just one role of an e-commerce company. People that write good to the internet. Actually, this is really great. There is a lot of companies that have this role, and they have to outsource it, or maybe the designer ends up with the title of the banner. And that's have no brain. The wording, actually it's a word. The wording is very important. Which words you choose and the order that you choose, so you can speak to one or to another person. So I think that in the time, this writing skill has been more valuable for companies, and they are starting to see that a good copywriter it's very good for your team. There are professionals that are very good at this and do that for a lot of brands. So at the beginning, you don't have to have one in your team. You can pay for article, but I recommend to have one long relationship with one person that know your brand, that know your company, stuff like that. But that can give you maybe one weekly article, for example, for I don't know $100 every time, and maybe you can pay something else to her or to him if to the sales that blog post generates. So that actually it's curious because I'm trying to learn how to write. I think it's a really skill that we don't value a lot. But if you see the digitally native brands in the internet,
one of the main characteristics that they have is that they have very elegant copy, very intelligent and pretty copy directed exactly to the audience they want to see. I always put an example in Mexico that is called benandfrank.com. It's kind of the Warby Parker in Mexico, and the wording that they use, it's very funny, and that attracts the young people, and they feel identified with that. If not, they are just promotions, prices, products, and that doesn't work now. You need to connect to one person and be happy that when you connect to one person, maybe you will disconnect from a lot of them because they won't like it, but that's okay. You are meant for one part of the internet, not for the whole internet.
Absolutely, and I think there's so much we can talk about here, and I think, you know, I'm not going to ask you more questions because I know we're out of time, but you know, something I'd love to explore, and let me know in the comment box below if you want to, if you feel the same way, you want to learn a bit more about this. But in terms of psychology of writing, the value in rent in a physical space, you know, we love omni-channel. It's something that we believe is, you know, a fantastic tool, and that's something I want to touch on in the future with you is the value of rent and actually having that physical space and using that alongside digital, you know, methods. And you know, I think from what this discussion I've had with you, I think I've learned that it's a toolbox. All these things are things that you can use in a different place, different time, but they are all things that should be in your toolbox eventually, you know, at some point.
Exactly.
So I love the presentation. I've learned a lot, and I hope everyone watching has, you know, learned something new today. Definitely follow us. But Marcos, we're out of time. It's been amazing to talk to you. I feel inspired to do some more learning. So thank you very much. You're welcome back anytime to teach us all something new. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time at Commerce Chats, the same time.